Thank you, Doug. Grassroots organizing is indeed the stage that we're at. And as has been said, you know, one of the committee members allegedly said, well, the paddling community hasn't expressed an interest. I don't know about you, but I didn't know this was going on until last week. How are we supposed to express an interest about things we don't know about? It's up to the committee members to reach out to all the various groups of stakeholders that are involved in this, and they have failed to do so. The second I found out about this, I began making phone calls. And I made a phone call to the clerk of the committee that's working on this. His name's Maxime Ricard, by the way. If you want his phone number, I've got it. And he assured me that, oh yes, we did stakeholder consultation. We invited over 70 groups to comment on this. I said, oh really? Who are they? Can you tell me some of them? Can you send me a list? And he said, well, no. And I said, well, I'd be extremely interested to find out what this committee considers consultation to be. I work for the Sierra Club of Canada, and we didn't get anything. He then kind of backpedaled a little bit and said, oh, well, you know, we're sorry, we can send you, send me an email, I'll forward you an invitation, and you can submit us a brief. And I said, okay, by when? And he gave me a deadline of 3 days. And that's not a realistic turnaround, and that's not fair when all of these other stakeholders have had, you know, months to prepare for this. Upon speaking with him again last week, he recognized and admitted to me on the phone that this committee has made a mistake in not consulting more people. However, he said to me that there's a process and he can't change it. They have to submit this report because, you know, the House is going to rise and everybody's going to go have their summer break. And while the committee will no longer be sitting, Transportation Canada, the Ministry of Transportation, wants to get to work on working on these amendments so they can table a bill in the fall. I would encourage them, highly encourage them, to extend the period of consultation. And if in the worst case scenario that's not possible, in the fall, I want to see all of you writing to your MPs, writing to the members of the committee, getting your friends to write to the members of the committee. I heard about this through an email forward. There's a lot that can do. If we can't get in on the consultation before the end of the month, we can get in on the consultation and lobby our MPs and lobby our members of parliament to get us in after the first reading of that bill while we still have time to change its direction. If it goes after second reading, we can no longer change the direction of what that bill's supposed to be. Anyway, I made notes. I should probably look at them. So, along with the others, I want to thank everyone for being here. Merci à vous tous. The word amendment, you know, kind of seems really dry and bureaucratic. But as we've heard tonight, this is a pretty serious thing. This committee wishes to amend the definition of a navigable water so that it doesn't include man-powered craft. They want to amend the word work so that minor works, such as bridges, causeways, dams, and booms, which I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound very minor to me, would be excluded from the Act. Shirley Scarf, a member of the infrastructure, she's a representative of the infrastructure ministry, said that she supposes that this will result in a quicker approval of those named works that are not a significant interference to navigation. Now, these named works that are not a significant interference are bridges, causeways, dams, and booms. I can't imagine anything that would be more interfering with navigation than a dam or a causeway. For those of you, if anyone doesn't know what a causeway is, it's when they pour concrete through the middle of a marsh or the middle of a river so they can build a road right on it instead of building a bridge over top. Well, that interrupts migrating fish populations. That disturbs the levels of toxicity in the water. So we're not just talking about literally being able to get a canoe through here. We're talking about the health of our ecosystems, which, from what I've heard tonight, is something that matters very intimately to anyone who shares that connection with Canada's waterways. There's a causeway out near Long Point, near Lake Erie, and they're seeing a large number of turtles being killed because they're crawling up from the water onto the causeway and they get hit by cars. And that's just turtles, but there's an estimated 10,000 animals killed annually on these causeways. Not to mention an increased risk of flooding in those areas. Dams change the natural flow of waterways, disrupting fish migration, as I said, changing seasonal water temperatures, and that in turn affects fish's abilities to reproduce. So, as we've heard from different speakers tonight, these little minor projects on minor rivers still do have large impacts on, like, social impacts, on our cultural heritage right of navigation, economic impacts on ecotourism and other industries that use the water in the river, as well as ecological impacts. One of the other aspects of building a micro hydroelectric project, which is also included as a minor work that they want to exempt, is increased levels of mercury in the water. You don't want to be drinking that. I think that if there is a problem with the delays and the time that it takes in order to get these infrastructure projects pushed through, the logical solution would be to look at the Environmental Assessment Agency and their processes and their operations and how we can improve them and make them more efficient, rather than skip this step altogether. We need our politicians at this point to show us that they are committed to this. They're committed to protecting Canada's waterways for all of us. We need them. We need a national water strategy. We need politicians to start making commitments that they care about water quality, they care about aquatic ecosystems, they care about navigation, and they care about Canada's heritage. Canada was discovered by water. So I would encourage you all to write the members of the community, members of, write into newspapers, write into your MPs, write into your MPPs. Get everybody to know about this. A little email forward goes a long way. That's why I was here today. Thank you.
She was talking about process. And if you read the minutes from the committee, the people that came before them and complained, they complained about how much time it takes to get a permit, how much time they spend evaluating navigation on a waterway that has never been navigated, never will be navigated, how much money, there's delays in their project. And for me, those are administrative or procedural problems with the way the Act works. And is it possible that there are some procedural or administrative problems with that Act? Sure. The thing was written in 1882. Fix them. If you don't have enough inspectors to get those permits done on time, hire some more inspectors. Don't throw away navigation rights because you're having a bit of a backlog.